SIL picked a revealing bridesmaid dresses and demanded that I cover my tattoos for her wedding, then called me trashy for having curves, and she spread lies about me. I, 25F, was set to be a bridesmaid for my SIL, 31F, for her upcoming wedding. My SIL can be a control freak and has the tendency to set expectations that are pretty unrealistic/inconsiderate at times. As you would imagine, that would apply to what she would request of her bridesmaids for her wedding. I know people have differing opinions when it comes to bridesmaids' dresses, but I'm someone who follows the opinion that the bride should have final say as it is her day, especially if the bridesmaids' dresses are being paid for. However, regardless of who is paying, I also think brides should also be mindful that if they want everyone to wear the exact same dress, it would be respectful to check if everyone is comfortable with certain styles, especially if there are people in the group who might dress up a little more modestly. In this specific situation, all the bridesmaids had to pay, which I obviously didn't mind. Here's the thing, my SIL asked her 3 closest friends first and already decided on the same dress for everyone to wear together before she asked me. I had no expectation that she would ask me, so I had no idea what they picked. If there is one thing you should know is that I dress pretty modestly, especially at church since it's a church wedding. The dress they picked out was pushing my personal comfort level. It was a lilac chiffon one-shoulder floor-length dress with a slit goes way above the knee, basically up to where most of my upper thigh would be exposed. I didn't want to make a big deal over it because they had already decided on it together, and since it's what my SIL really wanted, I kept my concern to myself. I low-key wish we all decided together, especially since there were 3 more people including myself that were not asked to be bridesmaids till after. Even though the dress wasn't within my modesty standards, I still decided to go along with it because I didn't want drama and just wanted to make her happy. My plan was to change after the festivities during the reception, which a couple more bridesmaids planned already to do so as well, and my SIL didn't mind. I thought things were gonna be okay until my SIL told me last week that she didn't want my tattoos to be noticeable and wanted them covered as it would be inappropriate in church and didn't want them in the pictures. I am tatted on my wrists, shoulders, and on the back. The tattoos on my shoulders and back are not small pieces and are very noticeable with the dress that was picked out. She told me that she's been concerned about them showing because of the dress, and keep in mind, she knows about my tattoos and the dress was still picked knowing they would show. I was annoyed, but since I already paid for the dress, Elle asked if I could wear a shawl and she said no because she didn't want me to stand out from the rest of the group, especially since I'm not the mo. She suggested this foundation that covers tattoos, which was $40/$50-ish. I'm not gonna spend that much on a foundation I'm not gonna use again. Plus, there's a chance it will get on my dress and make a mess. I told her I didn't think it was fair to expect this when she knows I have tattoos and still picked a dress that will still have them show. If she had a problem, why pick something without sleeves or ask me to be a bridesmaid if she was gonna be adamant about the style knowing she didn't want my tattoos being visible? She said I was being unfair and that it was her day and all she is asking for me to accommodate and that it would not look good for a Catholic wedding. When she said that, I got mad because it's always the people who start with the religious guilt don't even follow their faith and are quick to judge. My SIL literally has done and continues to do everything in the book that would be not okay for a practicing Catholic to do, but I never judge her because I have a past too and still struggle. Yet, for her to say it would not be appropriate for a Catholic wedding is just hypocritical and made me feeling like I was gonna make it unholy somehow over them. I got tatted when I walked away from my faith, but I came back to it and I'm pretty devout now despite my struggles with my shortcomings. For her to say I'm not accommodating is just beyond me because she already knows how I dress now, especially in a church setting. I even cover my hair at church, and I still pushed my convictions and preferences aside and wear this for her because I wanted to keep the peace and not make a fuss. When I told her all of this, she started making comments about how I'm being selfish for not putting on the foundation and then proceeded to say that dress looks trashy on me anyways because of my body. I'm on the curvy side and unfortunately have a large chest, so certain styles will make me look bigger and emphasize my chest, and that's what the dress did to me. Not trying to brag, I personally don't like it, hence why I'm mindful of how I dress, but it's unlike it's in my control as to how the dress would fit and look on me, but it's overall why I prefer to be more covered. I just ended the conversation with if it's going to continue as an issue, I didn't want to trouble her further and would rather she pick someone else because we can't see eye to eye. I feel bad for dropping, but her wedding is not for 5 months and I just think it's for the best I'm no longer part of the bridal party. LTA? Edit. Hey y'all, up here, just to clarify something, in response to some comments, that wasn't mentioned in this post earlier, this SIL is my husband's sister. None of my brothers are married, trust me, I would have responded to her a little differently if that were the case, but since she is my husband's blood, it's his job to put her in check because that's his sister, which he did already. I can totally make another post to share what happened in that conversation between the two of them, but I'd if I want to because it's a lot to unpack. Thank you for the comments. It's definitely made me feel better about my decision instead of feeling bad. Update, December 30th, 2024. Before I dive into my husband confronting her, I should provide some background on my overall experience with my relationship with my SIL. In beginning of my initial post, I talked about how she has the tendency to be controlling and set very unrealistic expectations that can influence the way she treats other people. Let me make one thing clear, she and I were very close at one point, or so I thought, and I treated her like my own older sister that she has even seen me at some of my worst moments since I've been with her brother, but even then, I knew about her toxic behaviors, but part of me always prayed she'll grow and do better with time. Almost 7 years later and she clearly proves me wrong every time. In the years I've known her, I've noticed how she does pride herself as being the favorite child between her, my husband, and their brother. I didn't grow up with my half-siblings and grew up very much an only child, so I never really understood the dynamics between siblings and the competitiveness between them for parental approval and praise. TBH, my husband and his brother don't really take any of it to heart or see anything as a competition, but their sister does. Any given opportunity she finds a way to make remarks about how she is the favorite and which among them is the least favorite among the three of them. I initially saw it as joking and typical sibling banter, but as time went on, it would irritate me. It especially doesn't help when I notice that my in-laws don't even realize they play favorite/enable her BS. For example, if my SIL makes an out-pocket remark or comment at family gatherings, comments that earn you a smack if you had the nerve to say it to the wrong person, and they never say anything to her, but heaven forbid my husband or his brother make a joke about something, they get worked up. It's clear because they're not treated equally, she really does think she can act however she wants. Not gonna get into detail, but she has done things in the past that only prove that as long as things are going in her favor in regards to her parents' approval, they are very religious people. For context, she has no problem outing or screwing over her brothers. My husband has kept a lot of her dirty secrets, and in a moment of vulnerability where he trusted her, she turns around tells my in-laws everything so she can look like the older sibling who cares enough to tell their parents what is going on with him, even though she has done worse that would piss off my in-laws. You might be asking, why not say anything to them as payback? My husband and I are the type of people who also don't think stooping to her level won't achieve anything. Essentially, they're not my secrets to tell because that's between her and God and whether or not she will ever come clean to their folks. Overall, that alone really changed my husband's view of his sister because it showed how selfish she is, and of course he felt betrayed even though this specific occurrence happened almost 6 years ago. He forgave but never forgot. Since then, and just over the time that I've been with my husband, everything she says and does just don't go unnoticed. I know some of you guys may ask why let it drag, and well, if she is ever confronted for something she did wrong, she always finds ways to make herself the victim and gets the whole family involved, so you'd be talking to a wall of nonsense and excuses. We just learned to just set boundaries, especially when it comes to family functions at this point. I guess my SIL sees through her BS but doesn't exhaust himself to confront her because my Mill is overprotective of her even when she knows her daughter can act very inappropriately. From what I see, Mill gets like that because SIL has ran away and temporarily cut ties with them when things don't go her way, and I get it, she wouldn't want to have a strained relationship with her daughter, but still. So imagine how angry my husband is because he's already been holding it in with his frustrations with his sister and knowing how passive his parents have become when it comes to her. Well, when he confronted her via FaceTime, he obviously came to my defense and told her that she is being unreasonable and unfair. And well, cussed her out because she kept making all kinds of excuses, and he basically handed her ass back to her. He didn't just leave it at regarding the wedding. He called her out on everything, and something she also said about to me to other family that we were not made aware of till a few hours before he called her. Turns out she was going around talking about the whole dress and tattoo situation and me dropping from the bridal party to some family members, one of which recorded what she was saying and sent it to my husband. Then she went off on a tangent talking about how his brother can do so much better than me and how she feels so sorry for her baby brother because I'm so lazy and won't help him financially. Basically referring to how my husband is supporting us while I'm in school full time. Keep in mind, I'm in medical school. Working part-time is not even an option for most med students. My husband went off on her about that and why our marriage and decisions in it bother her that much to bring it up. My husband's traditional and believes that he as a man should provide regardless of whether or not I choose to work. He decided he wanted to support us so I can follow my dream to pursue medicine, and that bothers her enough to downplay me as a lazy freeloader when my career will eventually provide with more stability for us down the line. Regardless of how anyone looks at this, I'd what her issues are, but targeting me just doesn't make any sense. After 30 minutes of yelling and hearing her fake cry her I'm sorry buts, my husband told her since her wedding day is family event, He'll still participate out of obligation and I will be guest, but to consider that to be the last time we will ever be involved in something that involves her. We're only planning to stay for the wedding mass and we'll leave right after dinner, free food idg. That's all. I know at this point why still attend, but my husband is also good friends with her fiancé and is a groomsman and it wouldn't feel right to drop on him just because my SIL is crazy. However, my husband gave her an ultimatum that if he finds out she pulls similar crap again between now and the wedding, then we won't go to the wedding altogether. Going forward after said wedding, or if she decides to open her mouth again, my husband decided we won't contact them or see them again, which it makes it easy since they will be moving to a different state. I'm counting down the days. LOL. If there's something I want to make clear here at the end of my post is that I do not wish her anything bad nor do I hate her. I do forgive her, however, for my mental and emotional health. I just won't maintain a relationship with her of any kind going forward. I do genuinely pray she finds, grows and learns from all of this and makes better choices if she has kids one day. I also hope she questions if this toxicity was worth losing a relationship with her brother. Next story. Girlfriend secretly talked to her ex, told him I was cheating, and let him threaten me. When I gave her a choice between me or him, she chose him. I, 27M, am unsure what to do about my GFM, 26. Some backstory: I met M 3 years ago at a store. We hit it off immediately, we spent all our spare time hanging out together, and then 2 months later we started dating. Before we started dating, she told me of her past relationship. Her boyfriend during their relationship was verbally, emotionally and sometimes physically abusive. She broke up with him after 3 years together. I met her roughly 2 years after the breakup. She knows I hate his guts, that I think of him as despicable, and I'm glad that this fucker lives 17 hours away. While they were together, M had made a bond with X's child. When we talked about this, I initially understood her feelings toward his child, having practically raised them, and supported her wanting to stay in contact. Her ex soon decided to cut her off shortly after we started dating. Nothing was heard from either of them for 4 months. Then the harassment came. He would blow up her phone with sexist jokes, saying how bad of a person she was, how he knows that she'd fuck up her current relationship, the list goes on. I told her that this was unacceptable and to block him. She agreed and did so right then. Now we come to the present. We were in bed, and I will say that she has me check her phone if it goes off in case it's her parents, as they're getting up there in age and we help out at their house quite often. It goes off, I check it. And it's him. I shouldn't have, but I check the message, and it opens the whole conversation. And they're chatting as if they're good friends. I'm confused. I've lost count how many times she's told me she hates him and doesn't want to talk to him ever again. The latest being Saturday. But this has apparently been going on for at least a month, and I'm shocked that she hasn't told me, when she had when he tried to contact her last year. I didn't say anything as I didn't want to start the conversation at the time. She tried to hide it from me later when he texted again, seeing the notification and quickly scrolling past it when showing me something. I confronted her about it and she said that he's just talking to me about his kid when there was no mentioning of him at all. I feel bad for intruding, but to see that going on. Am I just insecure? How I feel. I don't know how to calmly approach this situation with what I know and what I've been told. Update 1. So I'd like to thank the users who took the time to respond to my post. In short detail, we broke up. I decided to have a sit down with my GF. I asked her why she was really texting her ex. She said that she needed someone to talk to about life and vent, and apparently he's a better choice for that than I. I also was shown all of the messages. She didn't bother trying to delete anything as it would show that it had been. But he was clearly trying to drag her back or break apart our relationship. Subtle flirting and even some knight in shining armor BS. She told him she thinks I cheated in the past with my former boss, because I sent her and my manager memes and often helped her and her wife with projects to make extra money while they prepared to sell their house. I read multiple messages from him on how he would have beaten me to pulp if he was still in town, how he was so upset that he put holes in his wall. The cheesy shit. How he would never cheat on her. He cheated twice. I hope y'all can see he's also a narcissist, and insisting that me helping them out was suspicious as it was only during the weekend I would do this, even though I always sent her pictures of the work I did, receipts for the supplies, even footage of me working from their home cameras they have for their 3 dogs, and there was never a question asked to me about what I was doing over there aside from what time I expected to be finished, and was normally done on time or early. Oh, and I didn't mention that she didn't tell him we had gotten it sorted out, that I had never in fact cheated. She didn't tell him anything to dissuade him or diffuse the situation after he had threatened me like that. Nothing. Whether she thought it was serious or not. I was very upset by what I read. I felt like I had no value to her, that I wasn't trusted. No matter what I did for her, it seemed that I wasn't enough. I pressed her, I told her she has two options: she cuts him off and we go to therapy, or she can continue to have her chats with him and I walk away. Honestly, I should have just ended it myself, but I was curious as to what she would do. But it's over. She refused to cut him off, saying her only chance to talk to his child again is by talking to him. I told her if that a child that isn't even hers and a man who abused her is all she really cares about, then good luck with that. Grabbed my stuff and left. Rude? Yeah, I let my emotions get a hold of me. I called her parents and ended up telling them we've split. They're great people. They told me they're sorry that things turned out the way they did. They've even invited me out for dinner Friday, just me and them, so I can get some of my tools I've loaned them and to talk more about this. I thought about declining their offer to dinner, but her mom is too sweet for her own good. And her dad and I always have a blast having a drink together. So I'm going Friday. I've doubled down on my decision. And knowing them, they probably won't press me to try to make it work. After all this, I'm going to treat myself to a nice bottle of sake I've been saving in my fridge and just relax. Thank you for bearing with me on this huge-ass update. Update 2. Thank you everyone for your kind words, wisdom, and thoughts. Your comments have helped me so much. Alas, this will be the final update. M has tried contacting me non-stop, from calling to messaging me on SM. Begging me to talk with her and work things out. I replied only once, saying that I gave her a chance to work this out, to compromise and go to therapy together. Only for her to refuse and choose her ex and child over me. Apparently yesterday he cut contact with her, blocking her on everything, and honestly, I saw it coming. But he'll probably do it all over again when she finds a new guy. She's a wreck, and I pity her somewhat, but she's made her bed and it's time for her to lay in it. I told her that there will be no second chance, that I was finished the moment she made her values clear, and again suggested she get therapy. I wished her the best and then deleted her off my phone and anything else she was on. I went out to dinner with her parents last night, and it was actually a good time with them. Her parents were kind yet to the point. Her parents told me not to mince words or leave bits out and just tell them exactly what had been going on. I tried to tell them that while I respect them, that I did not want to drag them into our relationship problems and wanted there to be no issues with them and their daughter. Well, her dad told me they had already had a long talk with them, and regardless, wanted to hear my input. So we talked. I told them about her ex and kid, his threats, him trying to break up our relationship, well I guess you can say he did now. Her lying and hiding his messages. I told them I gave the choice and what she chose. I insisted to them that they take her to seek professional help, that if she keeps this up she's going to tear herself up, and any future relationship. I want her to be happy someday, but it just won't be with me. I'm tired of the lies and deceit. I just want to move forward and live my life. And I hope she can do the same. Their response was not exactly what I expected. They apologized to me for her actions, that they were disappointed that things turned out as they had, but supported my decision to walk away from her. I won't lie, I had expected them to ask me to talk to M, and try to move past it. But there was not even an inkling to that. Her mom came and gave me a hug, but her dad just seemed dejected. I'd never seen this man look this way, and it felt like a punch to the gut. It hurt seeing him like that, knowing there was nothing I could do. We ended up just sitting there in silence for a minute before he decided to order a round of shots. A round turned into two, and that seemed to help relax everyone as we started chatting about my future plans, their retirement, goals and hopes. We were out for 3 hours. Chatting as if we were just normal people. I had a great time, even while it hurt. We cried a few times, we also laughed, and remembered past times when we'd make a fool out of ourselves. When we were about to part ways, her dad gave me a bone-crushing handshake, and a hug which her mom ended up joining in. This man has never hugged me, so I was really caught by surprise. They told me to take care of myself, eat healthy, don't sink yourself in alcohol, and just focus on getting through the days. They're going to look at options for therapy for M, and recommended that I do the same. Which I think I'll do. They handed me a bag with my tools, said they're going to miss me, but wished me the best. I gave them my goodbyes and we parted ways. I feel like a huge weight has been lifted, both off my chest and my shoulders. I decided I'm taking a break from dating. One day I'll find someone. But that's all in the back of the mind. To others who may be going through similar situations, talk to your partners. If you've only talked about going to therapy, schedule a session. If not for you both, do it for yourself. Do not sacrifice your mental nor physical health for the sake of a relationship. If it's not healthy, and attempts of improving your relationship fails, walk away. I know for many it's not that simple, but when will enough really be enough for you?